Welcome, welcome. So glad to have you guys, and also thank you to those who are joining us via Zoom. So we are going to have our first speaker, Nathan's 912 from Earlham, and he teaches Spanish. So let's give him our attention. Thank you.
Awesome. Hi, Nathan Liston, high school Spanish from Earlham, Iowa. I'll be talking about virtual reality today, so hopefully tech coaches, foreign language teachers, hopefully everybody can get something from it today. To start off, we'll just be going over some general virtual reality tools that you can use in the classroom if you have iPads, computers, anything like that. Some just general that you don't need the goggles for. And then we will use Google Expeditions, where it's actually using the goggles, seeing a different culture come to life there. I'll go over some tips and tricks and actually talk about creating your own virtual reality experience. And then I'll finish off with some work time for you all to kind of implement and test some things out. If you have any questions during the presentation, don't hesitate to raise your hand. Happy to answer any of them. So first off, just take a look at the board here. YouTube 360, AirPano, Google Nightwalk, and Google Arts and Cultures. Are any of you familiar with any of these resources? Okay, a few hands going up. Okay. YouTube 360, it's a really nice feature on YouTube that you get different videos that allow students to interact with the environment in the video. So as you see, you can get the video, pops up, and then students can drag around on the screen and interact with their surroundings. It's a great way to visit culture. I'll skip ahead. You have anything from like this virtual reality tour of Argentina and seeing different UNESCO heritage sites, so seeing Calafate and the Patagonia. You have different videos, for example, a football game in Barcelona with club, and you have quite a few different options. If you just search on Google with Google YouTube 360, quite a long list, about 3,000 videos pops up, so you have a wide variety of videos to choose from. AirPano is one of the more popular virtual reality sites. You can search pretty much any major city in the world and take a virtual reality tour of the city. So off on the right-hand side, you can see different sites around the city, or you can click on the different helicopters to navigate around. So right now we're just in Barcelona. You can see the Sagrada Familia down below. If I wanted to, I can click on the different icons, and it'll allow me to see different parts of the city. It's quite impressive to just view, especially if you have one-to-one laptops. Very easy to use for the students. And then I can take a virtual reality tour of the city. All you have to do, just like the YouTube 360 video, just drag the mouse and you can see different parts of the city. Google Nightwalk is for French teachers here. So Google allowed some people to create virtual reality.
My name is Julie Demeure. I'd like to introduce you to my friend, Christophe. He'll take you on a street art safari through the back alleys of Cours Julien.
So, it comes in English and in French, but it allows students to have an interactive walk through the streets of Marseille. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And you can see different street art, you can see different elements in the evening air, and it's a very interactive tour rich with culture and a little bit of history of the area in Marseille. Unfortunately, just French, and they don't have any other areas or locations that they've launched yet, but hopefully they've said that they're coming out with a few more. And last but not least on this side, you have Google Arts and Culture. The nice thing with this is you can explore and then choose 360-degree videos. And it gives you same style as all the other videos that you can drag and drop around and explore the surrounding areas. Ooh. So the really nice part with all these four features, with iPads, with computers, All of them are available to use and very easy to implement in the classroom. But now we're going to get on to the fun part of virtual reality goggles and using Google Expeditions. So first off, in my school, we started with these basic cardboard goggles. They come about $15 a piece, and it's a very nice, cost-effective way to implement virtual reality, if you want to pass it around, in the classroom. We saw, though, that students had to put their phone into the cardboard viewer to use them, and so then we'd have different issues of the student's application wasn't running correctly on their phone, or not enough students had their phone charged, whatever it may be, and so we had different difficulties with those cardboard viewers. So we then applied for different grant money and different things, and we got these nice goggles here, a little bit more comfortable on the face, but they also come with the phone inside. So what allowed for us to do was to have virtual reality K-12 in our buildings. With the elementary kids, not all the kids had their own cell phone. This allowed elementary teachers a nice, easy way to implement virtual reality into their classroom. So you can see the Google Cardboard, super simple, easy way to implement virtual reality into your district. The full set here, the case, everything included, Wi-Fi router, iPad to lead the expeditions, is all about $3,200. We worked with Best Buy, so that's why you'll see Best Buy plastered on the phones in the case there. They gave us kind of a package deal. But the nice thing is the AEA has purchased Google virtual reality headsets, so it's something that you could check out as well. So a free resource there if your district doesn't want to invest the money until they see kind of the use in the district. So with that, I want to invite you all, come on up to the front of the room, grab a pair of virtual reality goggles. There might need to be some sharing, but go ahead, come on up to the front. We're going to explore some different sites. Let's see if this one's charged enough. Perfect. Awesome. And there's an extra. That one's a little low charge, just a heads up, so I go with that one. Thank you. And is my sound coming across okay in the back, hopefully? So first step in the goggles, if you open up the case, swipe up, unlock the phone. And then you'll see this Google Expeditions icon, the orange and white flag. Go ahead and click on that. You'll then see a screen similar to this, and you'll want to click. There will be Join a Tour in the middle of the screen, and you'll want to click Join. Hopefully it's appearing. Yep, so hopefully it's all. Yep. All right, so let's see. Oh, there we go. Let's put it upside down. Yep, there we go. Awesome. Oh, you're good, no worries. So as you can see, the first time you use these goggles, it's always a little bit of playing around with it, seeing what tech you might have to adapt or explain a little bit better for your students. So if you're on the home screen, just click that orange and white icon, and then you'll see a screen with kind of a guy with a magnifying glass, and you'll want to click Join. Once you've clicked Join, you can close the goggles, and hopefully you are in Argentina. A nice, cheap trip to start your morning. Perfect. Let's see. No. Let's see here. That was powered off. That's not.
Well, it was on, and then it just went off. So.
Let me see if. Okay, go ahead and close it then, and then it should be working for you. Yep, let's see if I have another one up here. Unfortunately, I have them all out. Sorry. Here, do you mind? Okay. Thank you very much. Here, we'll swap that out. I'll take a look at that one.
Okay.
So the nice thing is at my school, my tech coordinator, he usually charges the goggles. He'll bring them. We have a Google Calendar where you sign up for using the virtual reality goggles. You sign up for them, he charges them, brings them to your room, he takes it away, so it's super handy. Sometimes, though, when you have them in the classroom, you still have those minor tech glitches, which is always fun. So is it working for everybody now? Fantastic. So from my screen, I can change different parts. So if you look around now, you should be in La Boca, kind of a colorful environment here. And for those of you that are on the Zoom, I apologize that you don't get to join in the fun. So go ahead and just kind of explore. If you don't have the goggles, what the view looks like right here is you have a 360-degree view of the environment. I can call attention to different points, and on the virtual reality goggles, you will see a white circle pop up and an arrow. So I can call attention to different locations on the goggles that I want my students to look at. On my end, there's questions that also show up on the iPad. So if I wanted to talk to my students about tango, originating in Argentina, I can have different discussion questions that pop up on the virtual reality on here. Now, I will tell you that the more you kind of look at it, you might get a little bit nauseous feeling sometimes. That is completely normal. Usually when I have my students do this, especially when we only have 15 goggles in a case, we partner up, we take turns, give them breaks. Some students don't like them at all. I will tell you it's rare, but I let them kind of use the iPad to see the virtual reality so they don't have that sickening feeling. So the main thing here is you got to know how to set it up as the teacher. So the first step is you do have to have your own Wi-Fi. That's how Google Expeditions runs their program, is that's how all the phones connect to the tour, is that it's its own unique Wi-Fi. Pretty cheap to get your own Wi-Fi router. Nice thing is if you do that at your school, our password for it is just 1234. So it's super simple if you have students logging into the Wi-Fi on their phone. Then on the bottom of the screen, you'll see a table, and it has the word guide there. Once you click that, you get a screen that pops up like this one below, and you just click the start button, and that allows you to start the virtual reality tour. So it's very simple and easy to use on the teacher's end of things. Are there any questions about kind of setting up the tour itself? Okay, fantastic. Nice thing is, on the bottom of the screen, there's a bar with different locations in the tour. And as I look around on my iPad when I'm leading the tour, I will see different smiley faces. And that tells me where the students are looking. So if I've called their attention to a certain location, I can see, are they actively engaged? Are they following along? Or are they lost and I kind of need to do some redirect there? You also see the questions in the text that I can read off of if I'd like, or I can go off on my own to talk about the area. But it's nice that every Google Expedition has that text to give you background information about the tour you're taking. The other cool part, being foreign language, is that it does come in multiple languages. So Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, English, those are all languages that are represented in Google Expeditions so far. Off to the left, you can see a virtual reality tour of Frida Kahlo, and it's all in Spanish. So if I want to have completely 100% use of the target language, a very easy way to do so. Off to the right, you can see a French tour, I believe, of Notre Dame. I can't remember which the site was, my apologies, but it's again all in French, very accessible. Yes?
Are the languages specific to the place, or are all tours available in all of those languages?
The tours are specific to the place, unfortunately.
No, that's good.
Yes. So Any questions about the usage?
How often do you use this?
Mhm.
I mean,
I try to use it about once a unit. I'll have a different cultural theme for each unit, especially for upper level. If I have a science unit, I might have one of these science virtual reality tours of nature or something like that. If I have a history tour or an art unit, I use the Frida Kahlo or something like that. But usually I try to have them about once a unit, and then that way it still stays fresh for the kids, and then I'm using them in the district and administrating so everybody are happy. So, other questions? Okay. The nice thing is it's super easy to use. However, the one problem is in order to look at the different tours, you can't just go to Google Expeditions on your computer. They don't allow you to explore the different tours on your computer for whatever reason. So if you go to this link right here, just put that short link in, it gives you a nice long list of all the expeditions. The other nice thing is this table, I just downloaded it off the internet. Somebody else created it, so I'm just using my resources as a teacher there. But the nice thing is you can do the Command F and you can search and see all the different tours, all the different languages. So as a Spanish teacher, if I wanted to find a Spanish tour, I can then see, okay, I have something about the National Science Museum in Spanish, boom. If I wanted to have German, I have what looks like urban art somewhere, I don't know where, but the nice thing is that this table gives you that function and allows you to see which tours are available in what language.
Can you put that shortened URL?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Yep.
Didn't get it either.
I'll leave that up there for a second. I'll also give you a minute to explore that link just to see if there's any tours that pique your interest. The nice thing is they have tours around the world and they're adding to them fairly constantly. The other good thing about Google Expeditions is that it's a great tool for cross-curriculum. I know the history teacher next door to me, he's used it to explore Ellis Island. So especially too, even if you had an immigration unit in your course, you can use that to your advantage if you wanted to pull that in. I know that they have a Day of the Dead virtual reality tour that's coming up. It is more about the history of it and it has some museums and not so many pictures of the virtual reality of the celebration, but it's still an interesting background on Day of the Dead for you. Pretty much endless possibilities. You just kind of have to explore, see what works for you, see what works for your units. Nice thing is with the Google Expeditions, it comes with built-in questions and it's a nice extension to culture. If you have the 3 Ps, products, practices, perspectives, it's a really easy way to kind of explore those firsthand in the classroom that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. It's also very, again, helpful for content-based instruction. So if you are looking at different history or art or science using the virtual reality in your units, it's a very easy way to connect and use vocabulary in different language that they would have some previous knowledge of. Whenever I do my art unit and I talk about Picasso, it's something that they at least have some background knowledge, and the language I'm using in Spanish, they can use to connect and make meaning with that. Other thing to use is music with it, especially with different nature, or if you're in different cities, if you have some background music playing. For example, looking at waterfalls in Latin America, you might have some waterfalls playing in the background. If you're in the city, having some people talking just background noise in Spanish, it can enhance that experience and make it all the more meaningful for the students using the virtual reality and keep them engaged in it. different activities that I've done to keep students engaged and mix it up with them. One of the things I've done is describe the scene where, again, I partner students up for the goggles, and I allow one student to use the goggles and describe what they see. And the other partner has to write or draw what the student's describing. It's a very easy way to see, are they using the language correctly? Are they understanding the concepts? Because I can look down on the paper and see you're drawing mountains when we're looking at a desert with nothing in the area. That's an issue. Or I can see, describing different people, what they're wearing, colors, different things like that. And it's super simple to gauge their understanding. I have had them, it's a little clunky, but navigate the city where I have them all face the same direction and they have to point out different things off to the left or right, north or south in the city. And they have to give directions to their partner. Very simple activity, but it enhances that virtual reality. Almost always, though, I have a guided handout to go with it. Questions or text are kind of necessary with this, is that they need that break, and then also just to go correspond with the activity. It's super beneficial. And then student-led, I've had students lead these expeditions in the past, especially for upper level. If you have different projects that students work on, this is kind of a nice tool. If they have some virtual reality expedition that fits what you're teaching or what the students are teaching, it's really cool to see the students lead the virtual reality tour.
Can I ask you a question about
Yes.
your guided handout? Can you
Yes.
give us a sense of what your questions might be like?
Yep. So for level 1, I might say something as simple as describe some of the people that are in the area, describe what they're wearing, what clothing, what colors, do you like it, what's your opinion. For level 4, if I'm, say, taking the Frida Kahlo, I would say kind of give me some of the history that you know about Frida Kahlo, what do you see in the virtual reality that you've learned about in class, and have more complex questions. It just depends on the level and what we're talking about. Thank you. Other questions? Okay. So as I said earlier, make sure to give the students breaks. As fun as the virtual reality goggles are, they can be a little nauseating at times just because it's such a surreal experience. Also take a few minutes to explore before you start teaching, especially with middle school and elementary. They are so excited to use these goggles, and they will not listen to you right away because they're all about seeing what's right there on the goggles. So take a moment, let them explore the surroundings. It's not a bad thing, and especially with upper level, sometimes you can get them to describe the surroundings immediately in the foreign language if you just keep prompting them to do so and get them into the habit. Handouts are a necessity just to keep the students on task and make sure they're engaged with the activity. And I would say brainstorm with your tech coaches. They always have some good ideas. You never know what they'll have up their sleeve to incorporate with the virtual reality. And then any thoughts that you have, or if any of you have shared virtual reality, are there any things that you have to help the group? Okay. I did want to talk about Holt McDougal Online. They did email me a few weeks back, and they were giving a 60-day free trial to their curriculum online. And so I don't know if any of you work with them in your school, but they have virtual reality expeditions all around the world, and it actually includes additional scripts and questions that are not incorporated in Google Expeditions. All their scripts as well have an audio, so if you would like to play the audio in Spanish, French, or German while you walk around the room and talk with students, guide them, this is a very super helpful tool. And it gives a good breakdown of different levels as well. You can have beginner, intermediate, and advanced. As you can see on the toolbar at the top, you can just have the resources, and then it gives you this drop down of all the different possibilities. So if that's something you're interested in, it's a very easy tool to help you get started in virtual reality. To bring it to your classroom, it is very helpful to have some grants and local groups support you. And tech funds are usually helpful as well. We use kind of a combination. We have 3 sets. For one set, we got all through grants and different local money, whereas the other set, they're so popular and they're always booked at our school that we just used some of our tech funds to purchase another set. Again, cross-curriculum, our PE teachers used it for health class, science teachers used it. It can be used in any curriculum, which makes it a very beneficial purchase for your district. And it can be all ages, especially if you get the goggles that have the cell phones included. It's still easy to use, and young students nowadays are so good with technology, usually they have no problem using them. And especially for today's learners, they've grown up in an environment surrounded by technology, and sometimes we're impressed by different things online, but the kids themselves, they're a little unimpressed. This is always a good tool to get them engaged and kind of give them the wow experience. Last thing I have before I give you some work time, they just launched creating your own Google Expedition. And so if that is something that interests you, you can create your own virtual reality tour. You can see different examples that are made below on the website. And I also kind of played around with it myself. It's super easy to use. If you like to edit it, all you have to do is search different sites around the world. Now, unfortunately, you are limited to sites that have been uploaded to Google. So you have to be very particular. But you can move your character around, and any of the blue area on the screen is an area that you can drop down in, and you can see the area. If I wanted to add the scene, I just click Add Scene, and it's added to my virtual reality experience. So if you have something that you want to do in your classroom, but it's not in Google Expedition, this is an easy way to add it in. Takes a little extra prep and time, but a very impressive tool that Google just launched.
Is there sharing once people are creating theirs? Is there a community?
Yes, there is. So on the example that I just showed you, I allowed mine to be a publicly viewed tour, and it's in the database that they have. Where's the search function? See other tours. And so you can search and see other tours that people have created. So if something's not in Google Expedition, this is a great place to look, yes. Other questions? Okay. I did share the presentation in the agenda. So on the last slide here, I just have a list of the expeditions. If that's something that you want to explore, YouTube 360, I have a link to that. Airpano, Google Nightwalk, all of those are listed here. If you'd like to have further exploration with the Google goggles, I can lead you on different tours. And if you want to do that, maybe just come up to the front and you can see the view on the iPad, and we can play around with the goggles more. Up to you, but the last about 10 minutes are for you to explore whatever you think would be most beneficial for your curriculum. So.
Would you share your presentation? It's not public.
Oh.
Then folks can get it.
Nope. Click on the button. Hopefully, perfect. Let me know if that didn't work.
Nathan, we have a question from Zoom.
Yes.
They said, could students create a virtual reality tour as a class project?
I think that'd be super easy to do. Going back to the tour builder right here, I have open. Anybody can create their own tour. You just have to have a Google sign-on. I will say you want to check with your tech coordinator because sometimes in the district we have just different limitations, and at first we didn't have permission to access it, but our tech coordinator fixed it in about a day. And again, it's super easy to use, so I think that'd be a great classroom project. I think it'd be fun for students to explore their own creations. That'd be a wonderful project. Thank you. Other questions? Okay, I'll put the slide back up here at the end. Looks like some people got onto the presentation, which is good. That means it's public. Sorry about that mix up with the tech. And then if you want to come up to the front and explore goggles more, please let me know. So I'll give you the last 2 minutes to work. Thank you.